Alrighty then, let's go ahead and get started. Today, I felt pushed to talk about this new Bird Box movie that's everywhere over the internet. I watched it last night, and I was taking a couple of notes while I was watching it, and I just felt really inclined to speak on it since it's been such an internet phenomenon over the past couple of weeks. So let's jump right in. My review system is always the same here on Push to Talk. I'm going to review the characters, I'm going to review the story, and then its entertainment value based primarily on its genre. And then I'm going to give an overall ranking at the end. Okay, so let's jump right in. Character-wise, it's good. It's good character-wise. And don't worry, there's no spoilers here. Character-wise, it was good. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on characters, okay? The thing about the characters is they were rather stereotypical. For example, you have the asshole, you have the provider and jokester, you had the dumbass, that was plural by the way, you have the survivor, you have the baby deliverer, there was somebody who knew how to deliver a baby. There was an awful amount of coincidence in terms of the characters having certain services in this house that just happened to go together really well. But nevertheless, I still gave it a 7. Oh, and the protagonist. The protagonist was great because she struck a balance between strong but also vulnerable, right? She wasn't over the top, but she was also very susceptible to emotion. Nice balance there. So with that being said, you really cared about the characters. You did. The acting was good. They did a good job of endorsing emotion and creating emotion out of the audience. But they were just so stereotypical, I couldn't give it more than a 7. And I feel like it's the acting and the protagonist that really carry the characters in this movie. Because otherwise, it's just a bunch of things you've seen before that just happen to arrive at a house and everything just seems to work out. So characters, for me, my essential reaction for characters was that right there. I had to cringe a little bit while I was watching because I'm like, oh man, come on guys. Jesus. You look at it and you say, that is just so coincidental sometimes. And for me, that was rather annoying. But I still gave it a 7 out of 10. Okay, so what about story? People have been hyping this up. No spoilers here, Columbus. People have been hyping this up for its uniqueness, right? I gave it an 8 out of 10 on story. Here's why it gets an 8 out of 10. It was unique. I will give it that. In the sense that it's very much like A Quiet Place, but for your eyes. That movie, The Quiet Place, where you can't make any noise. It's essentially that, but you can't see anything. You can't look at it or you die. The story was good because it was unique, but the general idea is that it's the end of the world, and this particular, we'll call it a villain because I don't want to give anything away. You can't look at it. If you look at it, then boom, you're dead. That's it. You commit mass suicide. You kill yourself. I'm trying not to give too much away, but the story did get you to care. It did get you to say, okay, I want to know where this is going, but it wasn't revolutionary. And anybody who on the internet says that it was hasn't seen a lot of movies. It's a post-apocalyptic, well, not even post, sort of, kind of a combination of during the apocalypse and post the apocalypse, very recently post the apocalypse. So it wasn't a new idea in that sense. They basically just took Quiet Place, turned it into not being able to look at something, but they did it in such a way that it did intrigue you to continue watching, right? So for the most part, while I was watching this movie, I was actually asking myself, what are the questions and what are the answers to this movie? I was consistently asking myself, okay, if, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but if this particular individual enters this particular place, what's going to happen? Or what if they run out of this particular material? What's going to happen? Or where did they get this? Or this material would have helped in this situation. So it consistently had you kind of on edge with questions that would arise, but they did a good job of answering them. And a lot of movies don't do that. A lot of movies leave more questions unanswered than I would like, and there are some still here, but they did a good job of answering the important ones at a good pace, where you get a little bit create new questions. You get a little bit, create new questions, and they did a really good job of that. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. Which leaves me with entertainment. So entertainment-wise, and again, I do this based on genre, I gave it a 9 out of 10. So it's getting progressively better. Like I said, you're pretty much hooked the entire movie. At least I was anyway. I'm watching this movie thinking to myself, okay, you know, what's going to happen? What's next? A lot of it was predictable, but the big piece wasn't. At least it wasn't for me. So that part leaves you hanging on until the very end, which is nice. But entertainment-wise, I thought it was really good. I can see why this blew up on the internet. I can see why a lot of people are making memes out of it. I can see why a lot of individuals are going over the top about this movie. And for the record, Netflix is doing a tremendous job with their original series movies. I mean, this was well acted. This was a unique-ish story, a unique twist to something that you've seen before. It was not inspiring. That's not the word I'm looking for. It made you think. It made you think in a way that most suspense movies don't, because it's mostly just like mass serial killers doing a bunch of random crap and killing people. This one really made you think, like, oh God, you know, wasn't scary. If anybody says this movie is scary, they're just, I don't know, they're not wusses, but they're just, you know, they get scared by the most random shit, I guess. But it wasn't scary, but it really made you think. And for that reason, I was consistently tuned in. I was consistently staring at this movie, thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't want to look away. I didn't want to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to look away. I didn't want anything to happen without me seeing it, because I would have been bummed about that. So with that being said, I thought it was rather enjoyable. I thought it was extremely enjoyable. So my final verdict for Bird Box. You could probably guess it if you're any good at math, and if you even graduated from high school. You should be able to calculate this. My final verdict for this movie, 8 out of 10, which is a good rating. 8 out of 10 is 5 is average. 8 out of 10 is actually pretty good, guys. I highly recommend seeing it. I highly recommend watching it on Netflix, but I'm telling you, this isn't some global phenomenon movie. This isn't something you're going to watch and just be like, holy crap, that changed my life. That's why it's been so controversial. I think it was somewhere in the middle for the most part of what most people have been saying. But overall, it was a good movie. It was a great story, but it lacked a little bit of pop. It's a good movie with a combination of unique but also stereotypical. It was suspenseful and intriguing, but also kind of expected. So it struck a balance for me. 8 out of 10 is a great score. It's a great score. You should see this movie. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, any of the good stuff, but it is worth watching. It is worth seeing if you have Netflix. I would not go and purchase Netflix just for this movie if you already have Netflix. But if you do, take the time. It's 2 hours long. It's just over 2 hours long. Take the time to watch this. Get some friends together. Talk about it while you watch. Or if you're that kind of person who likes to be silent, do that too. That's totally fine. But Netflix is doing a great job with these unique series. Great job. Again, watch this movie. Not going to blow your mind, but worth a watch. So that is my quick, rapid review of Bird Box. Not going to change the world, but enjoyable. You'll enjoy this movie. If you like sci-fi, it's mostly sci-fi, I would say, post-apocalyptic type of stuff, you'll like this movie, guys. Plumbus says, did you see the new Black Mirror movie? Netflix did a great job. I have not. We tried to watch that, actually, and I was unable to do it on Apple TV. It's a device that doesn't work for it because you're not able to make choices, so I did not watch that, Plumbus, no. But I do want to. But again, this movie, you should see it. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to switch off here, and we're going to go on to BO4.